Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Sunday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, Restored Motion, RestoredMotions.com, and ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. All right, y'all. Happy Sunday. Bit of a later start today. We had the St. Jude School auction last night, emceed by yours truly. So went to the auction, and then after the auction went over to Superior with some friends. So good night, and just late night. So a little late start here. LSU basketball drops the rematch against A&M, so they split the season series. I'm bleeding. I don't know if you can see that. I really did. I took a big chunk of my finger. I might need a Band-Aid, actually. Band-Aid or a paper towel or something. That is really going to start gushing. I was setting the phone in the tripod, and as I was tightening it, I think one of the screws on the tripod, I just dug my finger into it and took up a big chunk of skin. That thing is starting to gush. My apologies. That's probably gross. Would you give me just a quick moment to go get a paper towel so I can put some pressure on this? I'll be right back. My apologies. All right. This will be a first for Morning Scone. I'm going to sit here like this. I'm just going to sit here like this with my finger in the air, elevated so this thing don't bleed. All right. LSU drops the rematch to Texas A&M. That's a bummer. The Tigers started out on a 9-0 run to start the game. They went back and forth. And the Tigers actually rallied, and 4 minutes to go, tied it. And man, the final 4 or so possessions of the game were not exactly a basketball clinic. So, in any event, Tigers lose to Texas A&M, so they fall 3-2 in the conference. I don't know that we need to spend a ton of time on it. I mean, Jordan Wright had another double-double, he's just playing so well right now. But this is a team. We're watching Mike Williams as a freshman kind of come into his own. It's been really good to see him. As a starter, he scored in double figures again yesterday with 11 points. He was 3 of 9 from the 3-point line. So you'd love to get that percentage to tick up a little bit, but he is unafraid, which is a great thing, as the evidence with the big 3 he hit the other night against Ole Miss. So. Tyrell Ward had 10 points off the bench for the Tigers. The big difference was the offensive rebounds. Remember, against Texas A&M, the first time, LSU just didn't allow the second chance points. Matt McMahon stressed it so much, and this time it was very clear that's what A&M fixed. A&M on the offensive glass out-rebounded LSU 21-6. 21 offensive rebounds for Texas A&M. They out-rebounded LSU in the game 48-34. I mean, that's the difference in the game. So. The more surprising thing was that LSU was able to execute that part of the game the first go-round, but even in being out-rebounded 48-34 and on the offensive glass 21-6, you were still there right at the end with a chance to win it. You lost by 4, but disappointing loss, but still onward for these Tigers at 3-2 in conference play. And if they just get to that middle stretch, above 500, they'll have a great chance late in the season to sort of pad their record. So they're at Georgia this week and then at Alabama. Of course, we know LSU never plays well at Coleman Coliseum, so you'd love to see them go on the road and get a win against an improved Georgia squad. And then after Bama, you got Arkansas at Tennessee, Bama again at Florida. And then aside from your Kentucky game, you lighten up a bit. So you've got South Carolina, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Georgia, Vandy, Arkansas, Missouri. So you have some opportunities late, but the gauntlet is coming. So we'll see how they fare. And then obviously you had the 2 divisional round games yesterday. Baltimore and Houston were tied at half. and then Baltimore just completely blitzed them in the second half. And then how about the Niners, who trailed basically the entire game, and then McCaffrey scored with about a minute to go to give the Niners the lead, and so they advanced the NFC Championship game. So today you get the divisional round, the second slate of divisional round games. So 2:00 at the first game, which is Bucks at Lions. For what it's worth, we're on Tampa in the points. I think Detroit wins the game, but Tampa in the points. And then in the second game with the Bills and the Chiefs, we like the under in that game. So, and I do think the Bills win the game, but we like the under in that game for those that are betting along with us. So, all right, we'll say some morning, see what y'all got. Fire away. Aaron Hornsby, Kelly Gross, Jennifer Othment, good morning. David Tolson had a fantastic week in Vegas for military bowling championships. Okay, all right, David. Looking for picks? Yeah, so the two picks we're going with today are we like Tampa in the points. If you can get it at 7, take it. And if you and then under in the second game is what we're looking at today. So let's see. Brandon Goche, good morning. Heard Forrest Gump at the portal. I saw that GIF. It's pretty good. Kevin Toller, good morning. Darren Gagnon, good morning. Wait, said breaking news: Bama just lost another player to the portal. Are you serious, or is that just the in vogue thing to say now? Because like if it's, I'm hoping you're serious, because then it'll give me another opportunity to laugh at them again on air tomorrow. But I want to say, I said it yesterday, and I'm going to say it again. Like, eventually, they will reverse course, right? Like, they're not going to go into next season with 40 scholarship players, right? I mean, they're going to fill out a roster, so they're going to get a bunch of commitments. They are going to get a lot of players out of the portal to commit to them. And so you're gonna see the Bama fans come at you with "we're coming," all this sort of stuff. Y'all thought we were dead, down, blah blah blah. You're gonna see. I'm telling you, like, mark the tape. It's gonna happen. Like, because they're gonna get commits out of the portal. They're gonna get February players in February to sign, whatever. But what I'm gonna tell you here today on what's that, January 21st, is when the roster is set. We're going to look at all the players they lost and all the players they gained and put them side by side. We're going to make a comparison to see how good that roster is. We're going to go look at the blue chip ratio from our guy Bud Elliott and say, let's see how good that roster is after your 5-star quarterback Julian Sayen's gone, your 5-star starting left tackle Caden Proctor is gone, your All-American safety is gone to Ohio State. We're going to look at your starting center, Seth McLaughlin, is gone to Ohio State. Isaiah Bond, your best receiver, has gone to Texas. We're going to look at your whole roster. We're going to say, all right, let's see how good you are. Let's put it side by side now. Patrick McKenzie, morning, Matt. Where do you get your crease protectors? Erica gets them online. I don't know. I mean, she buys everything on Amazon, so she probably just found crease protectors and bought them. Came in a pack. These are them. I don't know if they have a brand on them. I don't see a brand on them, actually. Cool. Anyway. Mark Bacon, David Coslin, good morning. Scooter Rushing, Truth Hurts. And I think the Lions are certainly the sentimental favorite for everybody today, especially us. I mean, we hate the Bucks. I don't want any team in the NFC South having any modicum of success. So, yes, I'm cheering for the Lions today. I do like the Bucks plus the points, however, today. So, let me see. And that is, yesterday was 6.5. I was going to wait to see if I could get it at 7. It's down to 6. Bummer. Okay. Greg R., will Diaco and Jancic move into off the field roles? No, Greg, my understanding is they were not retained. So when Blake Baker came in, and this was like 2 Fridays ago or so, maybe Thursday ago, Blake Baker cleaned house. So not just, remember with that initial wave of on-field coaches that were let go with House, Steeples, Cooks, and Jimmy Lindsey, Diaco and Jancic were initially retained. But my understanding is Blake Baker let them go. So a little hydration. Caffeination. Hydration. Brett DeGrow, Aaron Hornsby, Bubba Tatum, great football yesterday. Hope everyone has a great Sunday. Let's see. Jacob Thompson, morning, Matt. Hate that I missed morning Scone the past 2 days, but could you tell me about the Cory Raymond deal, please? Sure. So just very quickly, because that was a chunk of the episode yesterday. So LSU signed Cory Raymond to a 2-year deal with the LSU option for a 3rd year. The first year, LSU will pay him just $200,000 because he will be offset by his Florida buyout. So I guess he's getting about $500,000 or so from Florida. So LSU only has to pay him $200K year 1. They'll pay him $755 year 2, and then LSU has the option for year 3. It's very uncommon for a veteran assistant like that to get anything less than a 3-year contract. So the fact that he basically got a 2-year deal with a team option for the 3rd year, and then the first year they only have to pay him $200K is most likely why this was palatable, right? I shouldn't say palatable, excuse me. Why the people who opposed or who wanted to go a different direction were okay in doing this deal because it's a very LSU friendly deal. And there were a lot of people pushing for Cory. So that's essentially what happened. So like by contrast, Kevin Peoples, the edge rushers coach who came in from Missouri, he got a 3-year deal at $700K per. So he's guaranteed $2.1 million, essentially. Austin Kidder, good morning. Scooter Rushing. Poor man's Band-Aid. I'm going to get a Band-Aid, but I don't want to put a Band-Aid on while it's gushing blood. For those who are just joining us, I cut my finger. So I'm putting pressure on it to stop it from bleeding, and then I'll put a Band-Aid on it. I don't want to put a Band-Aid while it's bleeding, because then you have all the blood that gushes under the Band-Aid. Michael Buchanan, good morning from Lilburn, Georgia. Matt Plavidal, good morning. John Newberg and On3 had a rant about Bama losing their players. Why no outrage when LSU was down to 39 scholarship players? Poor Bama, laughing face emoji. I don't know who John Newberg is, forgive me. I don't know if he's a Bama guy or a national guy. But, yeah, this happens really to, every player, every school when they lose a coach. You have massive turnover. Welcome to how the other side lives, Bama. Brian Penn, good morning from Vidor, Texas. Seeing they out-rebound them by 14. They did. Not a great day on the glass for the Tigers. Bubba Tatum, Matt, you bleeding on camera is just unacceptable. First, the sinuses smacking, and now this GD amateur hour, LOL. Hey, bro, welcome to Morning Scone. Y'all know what y'all signed up for. Brett DeGrow, bad shot selection down the stretch, got killed on the boards in the second half is the story. Yeah, the bad shot selection. The last 4 possessions of the game were pretty disappointing. But again, my expectations for this team are very much tempered. Let's see. Jesse Brown, Damon Gilmore, James Avery, good morning. Von Bluesman. So Von Bluesman, by the way. I gotta say, man, Von Bluesman. Wait, hang on. I lost my spot. Okay, so every day, there it is. So every day I have the HUDCO link pinned in the chat. And if you go to that website, if you click the link on the website, you'll see like on the right side of the home page, this form. It's like name, address, what's your roofing need, how'd you hear about us, blah, blah, blah. It's just, it's a form. It'll take it 30 seconds to fill out the form. On, I guess it was Friday, in our HUDCO text chain. So it's like all the, the managers and owners with all this stuff. And I'm on it. Well, someone screenshots a form submission from the website, and I see it's Von Bluesman. And I'm like, oh, jeez. And the form is like, it's like 1-800 Saban's gone. Anyway, basically the whole form submission was just knocking Saban in Alabama. It was kind of hilarious. Everybody was laughing. I'm like, oh, I recognize that name. The morning Sconers have infiltrated the HUDCO online submission form. And I think there's probably Sherry up from our the Sherry Hudson of HUDCO. I think grabbed it and posted the form submission on the HUDCO social platforms. It's pretty good. We all got a good laugh out of it. Jason H, did you set the reminder for the Court Purple SBs? I did not, Jason. I need you to. Hey, Jason, text my show text line and remind me. So as soon as I'm done with this, I'll check that and I'll see it. Or whenever I check it, I'll see it. Please. 396-4400, 225-396-4400. That's the show text line. It goes right to my phone. It's an app on my phone. So, I mean, I don't have notifications set on it, but I'll go through it at various points throughout the day, so I'll see it. Leon Williams, morning, Matt. Your Bama rant with the laughter and music is super petty, and I love it. Even the Bama radio station calling you out tickled me. Nice run back to Francione, Price Shula days. So good. Last night at the St. Jude auction, if I had one person tell me they're loving the Bama is burning content, I had a dozen people tell me. It was pretty funny. Pat Houston, morning. Amazing to sit and watch these remaining NFL teams play. Extremely young and fast, no matter what side of the ball, compared to what we're used to watching with the Saints old and slow. Cortland, morning, Matt. Did you see RC's rant on ESPN? You're going to have to bring it a little more specific, Cortland, if you said, did I see RC's rant on ESPN? Which one? Lawrence Burley, good morning. Let's see. Matt, hearing Dana Holgerson is in play for a role on the staff. What are you hearing? Haven't heard Dana Holgerson's name, but I can certainly ask around. Rick Hess, good morning. How's Jake Flint working out? Any regrets as to him replacing Tommy Moffitt? Well, Rick, I mean, on a personal level, yeah. I mean, I love Tommy Moffitt, and he was a pillar and one of the real cornerstones of the program over 3 head coaches, from Saban to Miles and Ogeron. So I hated seeing that. But I think two things can be true. I can be disappointed and sad to see Tommy Moffitt no longer on staff. And I can also think Jake Flint's doing a good job, and I think he is. So yeah, I mean, I think Jake Flint has assembled a really good staff. I think they're doing a good job, yeah. Love the Bama's burning stuff. Keep it up. Chance Babbitt, did you see Joe Brady interviewed for the Falcons? I did. And what's interesting too is Joe Brady interviewed for the Falcons head coaching job in 2021 also, when Arthur Smith got it. So that's the second time they've interviewed him. Now, it certainly seems as though certainly seems that Bill Belichick's going to get that job. But I also understand why those guys go for the interviews, for the experience, to get their names in those coaching searches. And, Brady has, that offense has turned around with, this season with Joe Brady replacing Ken Dorsey. So, and I think Buffalo wins today too, by the way. So, we'll see. Von Bluesman and Matt, nobody has mentioned the millions of dollars Bama will lose because of the downfall. T-Bob says, ha ha ha. I don't. Oh, the millions of dollars Bama will lose. Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I think as far as the money side of it from Bama's perspective, what will be interesting to see is like most certainly when a team's not winning, people aren't as generous. So will donations and charitable giving and stuff like that go down probably, or the other part of it is will their NIL coffers get bolstered because they will need to do so in order to continue to play and win at that level. Dane Bergeron, good morning. Last day of duck season. Got a limit. Now depression sets in. Okay, Dane. I'm sure our president and CEO of Guarantee Flint Foster is out there in the duck blind this morning as well if it's the final day. Scooter, Kelly's about to realize he messed up letting Raymond go. I'm excited to see next year's defense. Mark Allen, Matt, I'll be in Baton Rouge for 2 days, Wednesday, Thursday next week. My wife will be with me. Where do I need to take her for dinner? I want to take her somewhere nice, like really nice. I mean, our place is Rufino's. That's where Eric and I always go. Depending on where you're staying or what you want to do. If you're downtown, obviously I endorse the Watermark Hotel. The Gregory is the restaurant there in the Watermark, which is great. Or if you wanted to, you could have like a glass of wine, a cocktail, whatever, at the bar in the Watermark, which I would recommend. And then you could have dinner at Struby's if you want like steak, or you could go to Tsunami, which is on the, like a rooftop sushi restaurant. That's if you're downtown. If you're in a different part of town, Rufino's is like, a complete other side of town, which I love, and always great ambiance, and the food's fantastic, and we love it. I would recommend if you get a reservation, ask for a table in the bar area. Not a bar table, right? But a table in the bar, on the bar side. You could take a shot at Jubin's. Since they've reopened it, they really livened it up a bunch. I always find I've found the food there to be really consistent and good when I've gone. And they've added more like life and energy and light and ambiance than they had before. It was kind of dark and quiet and kind of old, honestly. So Jubin's is an option as well. I haven't been to Solu, but there's a lot of people that swear Solu is really good. So anyway, couple recommendations. Dane said, Matt, are you going to the baseball banquet tonight? I'll be there. I forgot that was tonight, Dane. No, I'm not actually. I went last year and had a good time, but I forgot it was tonight. we got some people coming over to the house, and so no, I'm not going to make it this year. Tiger Diver, morning Scone, just picked the purple Nike SB Force 58, who we bet in today. So I got the Nike SB Force 58s for Erica for Christmas, and they didn't fit her. She didn't like them, so sent them back. Got them at Ruckus, but I brought them back and got her some different ones. Betting, again, for those just joining us, we're on Bucks in the points, and we're on the under in the Bills Chiefs. Let's see. Matt, Josh Newberg is the on-3 recruiting bigwig. Got it. Is he a Bama guy? I don't know. Cortland, the best part of the transfer portal is we don't have to wait 4 years for the Bama roster to equalize. That's true. David Bass, good morning. Trey Guy, good morning. Football staff now has great recruiters. Is there no Bama players in the portal? That would be a good ad. So Trey, it's a good question. And Solar Flares, good morning. And some people have asked it, why isn't LSU going after Bama players in the portal? So a couple things. Number one, look at LSU's roster. LSU is already over the 85 scholarship limit. So that doesn't mean they're not going to add more. They are. But you have to look and say, okay, well, where is the need? And is there a player at that corresponding need? Like, So would Caleb Downs have been great? Yes, of course. He was also going to command a very high NIL dollar, and I don't think LSU is in the mix there. Isaiah Bond, really good receiver. LSU's fine at receiver. Like, I don't see the need there. Julian Sands in the portal, 5-star quarterback. Well, you've got Nuss. You went and signed A.J. Swan. You've got Colin Hurley coming in, and you've got Bryce Underwood committed for 25. I don't know that you want to go commit what you need to commit to add a quarterback. Caden Proctor, left tackle. You got Will Campbell. You see what I'm saying? So, like, where, if a really dominant interior defensive lineman goes into the portal, yes, please. You know, the cornerback that who was so Des Ricks went in the portal. I'm telling you, LSU reached out and he had a really big NIL ask, and LSU was like, "We're good." I mean, it was kind of a similar scenario with the Lance Hurd thing, where it's like, you know, where it was just dude wanted a big NIL deal, and we're getting spammers in the chat now. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, my point is, it's got to be the right player at the right position that's worth adding. And if that player's there, then yeah, I think they will. But you got to keep in mind all the context around everybody that goes in the portal, because everybody's going to be seeking a different thing. Austin Kidder, we haven't had much Alabama football failure to celebrate since they lost to ULM in 2007. Let's live in this moment and soak it up. Guy Brooks, good morning, Matt and family. Hope all is well. All right, guys, same to you. Vaughn, I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. Thought I had deleted it due to requiring a phone number. No, man, it went through. Jason H., Air Tech, Atlanteans, good morning. Cortland, oh, the RC thing with Stephen A. Okay, yeah, about the Louisiana Bama fans getting used to that. Yeah, I think that was right after Saban retired, and I think it just kind of made the rounds yesterday, oddly enough. But yeah, I did see it. Need to change this morning to coffee with scone. So we used to name to morning coffee with scone. We used to call it, what did we call it initially? We called it breakfast scone. That's what it was. The initial iteration of the show was called Breakfast Scone, and about a week in, people were like, call it morning scone. I was like, okay. So we did. Let's see. Ryan Dixon, good morning. Tonight, LSU, a tough LSU loss in basketball. Game they should have won at home. Bad shot selection, rebounding. Ward is coming along. They're coming, man. I think in order to be disappointed, you have to have expectation. And I don't have great expectation for this team. So when they win, I'm going to be pleasantly surprised. And when they lose, I'm not going to be super disappointed, because I don't expect them to be great this year. But you're right. Like, Ward's coming along. I like the confidence Williams has as a freshman. Getting Jordan Wright going has been really good. It's interesting how, he was, in his time at Vanderbilt, was much more of a facilitator, and I think it's shown pretty clearly that Jerry Stackhouse missed the boat there. Because Jordan Wright is the best player on LSU's team. Jalen Cook coming back has just changed the dynamic of your team. So yeah, man, like my hope for this team right now, I think, is if they're an NIT team. If you can finish somewhere around 7 or 8 conference wins, I think that'd be great for this team. Make the NIT, taste postseason, continue to recruit, and look toward next year to see if maybe you can make a run toward the big dance. Cortland, almost 2,200 episodes in. No doubt there will be a name change. Austin Kidder. Let's see, Barry Jocelyn. Callum Alexander, good morning. Megan Pope, did you catch any of the fights last night? I didn't, Megan. So if you're just joining, we had the St. Jude School auction last night. They're a big fundraiser. So Erica, works at St. Jude School. So I am seated, so we were there last night. And then whenever the auction ended, we jetted over to Superior on Highland and had some food and hung out with some friends. So no, I did not catch the fights, but I heard the Strickland ending was pretty controversial, which is a bummer. So I'll try to maybe go back and see if I can catch it somewhere today. Jared Esprit, good morning, Scone. Hope everything is going well for you and your family. Have you ever hired someone for Morning Scone? No, man. Morning Scone is this is just a thing I've done to build community and the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, and I like to have a presence in everyday part. I mean, my initial thought in doing this was. Like when I first started it 6 years ago was let me build my YouTube channel so I can monetize, right? For those that don't know how YouTube monetization works, when you have a verified YouTube channel, so you have to hit certain benchmarks like 1,000 subscribers, so many watch hours, yada, yada, yada. Then you can be a compensated content creator. So when your page is monetized, you're creating the content. And so when they run ads, the page, whoever runs the page gets paid on those ads that run. So like if you see pre-roll or mid-roll ads, like I'll get revenue from that. So that was my initial thought. Well, very soon, I mean, we were maybe a month into doing it. If you remember, for those who are like Morning Scone OGers who go way, way back, there was a product, it was a margarita mix. It was Boudreaux's margarita mix and Bloody Mary mix, and the guy who I've kept in touch with, who ran that company, reached out, was like, "Hey, can I sponsor that?" And I was like, "Sure." So remember, we used to have the bottles right here, and then a short time later, Brock came on board, and so my whole thing was like, if I'm making money from sponsorship, then I don't really need to worry about the Google AdSense money. That's why I moved it to Facebook, because I already had an audience on Facebook. So it was like, well, I need to show this to an audience because I have to promote these people's product. So, and then Trivia Carter, who y'all hear me talk about here, just kept on hammering me like, what? Like, I hate Facebook. Why don't you put it on YouTube? Put it on YouTube. So that's why we do both. But I literally just fire this up but only recently have I got to the point where I want to build kind of a home studio. I've wanted to do it for a while, but I finally bought the equipment. So I have a streaming laptop. I have a professional microphone, which actually came in yesterday. I have a Rodecaster. I don't know if y'all can see. Can you see that? It's an audio board that I bought. So I'll have the setup. I'm probably gonna. This is gonna wig y'all out a little bit, but I'm probably gonna buy a new desk and a sectional, like an L-shaped desk, and put it in that corner. So I'll be over there with this behind me now. So y'all will start to see a new backdrop of Morning Scone. I'll have graphics on the screen and get rid of that. But it'll not just be for Morning Scone. It'll be for all the content I create. It'll help me do stuff at home when I need to record commercials and podcasts and other thing, which I do. So I will have my home set up here done shortly. But to Jared, have I ever wanted to hire someone for Morning Scone? Hiring someone would necessitate adding that person, increasing the revenue enough on Morning Scone to where it would justify having someone hired. And I don't think I don't think I need that. So let's see. Where are we? Let me jump over to Facebook. Tim Forche, good morning. Ted Tassan, good morning. Matt, I'm surprised LSU hasn't made you the head coach. You know so much about everything. I've never applied for the job, Ted, and I don't think I'd want the job. But the salary would be nice. The buyout money would be nice too. Ryan Amanda Guidry, good morning. Jeff McKithen, Christopher Smith, Hudco Jingle. You know what, Christopher? It's a Sunday. I'm feeling really good. So, ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you.
When you need a roof, call someone you know. Scone, Ontario.
Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Deborah Coward, good morning. Raed Abdel Majid, good morning. Mark Vitanovich, what's up? Ben Giat, how big can Brian Kelly build a wall around Louisiana now? I think, well, I mean, I think this year, even before all the staff changes, was a great start, right? I mean, I think LSU signed 11 of the top 12 in the state, maybe 12 of the top 14, something like that. So moving Frank Wilson into the recruiting coordinator role was a huge part. Then adding Cory and Bo on top of already having Frank and Joe Sloan and Cortez Hankton and Brad Davis, I think you've got a really, really formidable staff. Craig Duga, that Matt Moscona, dropping gifts every time someone from Bama transfers. You darn right. Dre Marceau, how would you feel if LSU hired Greg McMahon as special teams coordinator and tight ends coach? I don't know if Greg McMahon has ever coached tight ends. And honestly, Dre, I just saw where Greg McMahon is like I think just signed a new contract with Tulane. So I don't think that's a possibility. My guess is they'll divvy up special teams duties again, unless if there's a special teams coordinator they hire that also coaches tight ends. Manny Troncoso, what's going on? Dylan Landry, Quentin Brakebill, good morning, y'all. Michael Richard, good morning. The line dropped to 5.5. Blah. Well, I should have bet it yesterday then, Kevin. That's a bummer. It's a bummer, man. Oops, sorry. I'm trying to find my place. Whenever I toggle back and forth, sometimes I lose my place. Wendell Norman, Larry Connor, Matt, who'd you like for the Saints to hire as the new OC? You know what, Larry, I can't say that I know enough about the guys they've interviewed, like Zach Robinson and from the Rams, or the quarterback's coach from the Bengals. But I understand the concept of saying, hey, let's try to find someone who has had or is connected to success or what we want to be, right? But I think it's why you go through the interview process. I don't like the idea of another retread. So yeah, I would like to see them go the path that so many in the NFL have gone now, where you have the new, young, offensive-minded assistants. So if they go with Robinson, or I keep forgetting his name, it's the Bengals quarterback's coach. Dan Pitcher is his name. I'm down with that. Ronald Curry, the only thing with Curry is he's been on staff. So how much is Curry influenced by what has been happening? Callum Alexander, Matt, are HUDCO roof inspections free? I need my roof inspected after that windstorm from last week. Absolutely. And by the way, Callum, just as a piece of advice, no roofer should ever charge you for an inspection. Literally, if anyone's charging you for a roof inspection, you should run the other direction. And I'm happy to give you any advice that you may need, but have someone get up on your roof. We can obviously send a field inspector to come check it out. Come see, bud. Okay, we ready? Let's see. Hey, before you go, do you want to tell Dad Show hi? Do you want to say hi to Dad Show?
No, after Dad Show.
Well, after Dad Show, we'll get dressed and you know where we're going to go, huh? To the mall. Hey, you want to come say hi to Dad Show? Go hi on Sunday? Okay, come see. Okay. Okay. You want to say hi?
Hi,
Hi who?
Drew.
Hi Drew. No, what does Drew say? Drew says hi to who?
Hi, Dada.
Good job. Hey, are you so happy?
Yes,
Yes. Did you sleep good?
yes.
Yes. Are your feet cold? Your feet are cold. It's because you won't wear socks or shoes inside, huh? Huh? He just, like, anytime he's wearing socks, he just immediately sits on his play mat and just takes them off. He won't wear socks or shoes inside. Huh? Huh?
Yeah.
Isn't that right? Mwah. Mwah. Where you going?
Oh.
Where you going? Is Daddy getting your feet warm? Huh? Is Daddy getting your feet warm?
Yes.
Hey, who did you see last night? Where did you go last night? And where'd you go yesterday? With who? Did you see Mimi and Papa last night?
Yes.
Where did you go?
Me.
To Mimi's house. Yep.
First.
Okay. He's done. Well, thanks for the time. Thanks for making an appearance. We'll see you later. Okay. You need Daddy's help? What do you need? Okay. All right. Please smash that like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. Michael Cook, Jim Arsenault, what's going on? Dale, every time you play the jingle, I test my mute button. It still works. Well, Dale, I don't know what to tell you. Not everybody's got great taste, man, in music and jingles. So you can just keep on rolling along. Not liking the Hudco jingle, but I tell you, it's effective. All right. Jesse Post, the Bama's burning segments are killing me. I keep going back and watching them. They are. I'm enjoying doing them as much as y'all are enjoying watching them. Phil Smith, Matt, any update on Greg Brooks' condition? I haven't heard, Phil. Shoot me a reminder, and I'll see what I can find. Cortland, our roster is full, yet we don't feel great about the D-line and DBs. Right, and Cortland, I want to be honest, or not that I would ever lie to you, but to be clear, let me say that. They're not done. They're going to add, and they're going to subtract. Attrition is part of roster building, and oftentimes when they talk about it, they try to do it in a more they make it sound more appropriate or better by calling it processing, when guys get processed. But basically, you're cut. Your scholarship's not renewed. You're told go find somewhere else to play. So that's another reason why I'm always very pro player when it comes to portal and things like that. Because if a school can tell you we're not renewing your scholarship, leave, then I'm going to be okay if the coach can up and leave whenever he wants, then I'm okay with the players leaving. I'll say it again, and I'll continue to say it until someone gives me a good reason why not. The only people inconvenienced by the portal and all this stuff are the millionaire coaches. And I am not sympathetic toward coaches making millions of dollars that they are inconvenienced with how they have to build a roster. I'm not. Brian Kelly makes $10 million a year. I'm sorry it's harder for you to build your roster. I don't care. Go swing a hammer. Rex, good morning. Joseph Feltwell, Davenport or Lamar, LMAO. What a horrible decision. Oh, Marcus Davenport in the draft. Yeah, but in fairness, Joseph, everybody passed on Lamar in round 1. Anybody could have had him. The Ravens took him with the last pick of round 1. So it's easy to say that. And yes, trading up for Marcus Davenport proved to be a bad decision. No argument against. But everybody in the league passed on Lamar. Cortland, men's basketball showing a lot of improvement. Ryan Dixon, Scone holding out for big NIL deal to change the name of the show. WU Poppy 39. Worst thing about Bama was always their fans. They were entitled and thought being great was their right. If Saban never went there, they would have been finishing third in the West most years. There were a lot of those years, man. You know, didn't Auburn have the 6 straight wins over them under Tuberville? Obviously, things were not good at the end there under DeBose. They won the SEC in '99, but they got bad there. Francione left them high and dry. For A&M, Mike Shula. Shula did have a 10-win season, though. In 2005? Wasn't 05 their 10-win season? Yeah. Tim Gotra, Vernell Thomas, morning rolling Sconers. Purdy was looking mediocre last night. Tim Gotro, no, not a new desk. Why the objection to a new desk? So whenever we moved in here, the folks that lived here prior, there was a really large, beautiful desk in here. And they left it, and I used it, and I loved it. It took up so much space in the room. So we ended up moving that desk out, and I bought what really is just a small table, which is what I have here now, which opened up the room a lot. But for what I'm trying to accomplish, this isn't functional enough anymore. So anyway, Sergeant King, Big Matt doing big things. I guess morning Scone. Manny Drunkoso, morning Matt. Can you confirm or refute rumors whether Alabama mascot is entered the portal? I love all the memes; they're hilarious. The Forrest Gump, the mascot, all of it. The Saban statue entering the portal. Let's get the flames in the backdrops when we talk about Bama. Brett DeGrove, you talked to your baseball scout buddy that said we would win the 2023 CWS. We going back to back. I haven't. So for those that forgot or aren't familiar with what Brett's talking about, so I did have a buddy of mine last year. It was the first day of was it fall practice or was it the first day of? No, it had to be the first. It was fall ball. It was fall ball. Oh, God. I was like, what is on my neck? This is my hostage tape. I was wondering where it went. So I sleep every night with tape on my mouth so I don't snore. If you've never heard of it, if you have a snoring problem, I'm telling you, this is legit. This stuff legitimately works. You do this. It's going to fall off now because there's no more adhesive on the back. But anyway, it seriously works. It's called hostage tape. The name is awful. And the first night I wore it, it definitely wigged me out a little bit. But it works. I mean, it forces you to breathe through your nose instead of through your mouth, so you don't snore. And we tried so many different products. Erica had these magnet things I put here, different pillows, all kind of stuff to try to make me stop snoring. And that's worked. Oh, but anyway, so Brett, so I had a buddy who I asked when LSU, hey babe, when LSU played open up fall ball last year, they had the first day of practice. I was driving home, or it was like 8 o'clock at night or something, and my phone rang. It was him. I knew what he was calling because he was at practice, and so I picked up the phone. I just went, so are we winning the Natty? He goes, yup. He said that's the best collection of talent he's seen on a college roster ever. And of course LSU went on to win it, but I need to check in with him, see what he thinks about this team. Brian Chesanek, love the show. How many teams would you trade LSU's 2022, 2023, 2024 classes for? I don't know if I understand the question, Brian. Would I take their recruiting classes over LSU's? Georgia's probably. I don't know. I'm not the biggest recruiting guy in the world, but I can look at the recruiting rankings and see. But I think LSU's got a pretty talented roster. I think retention is obviously a huge part of it, because you keep in mind with 22, 3, and 4, guys like Walker Howard, Lance Hurd, Jalen Brown were highly regarded guys that signed in those classes that aren't here anymore. So there's part of that too. Shane Bigfella, good morning. Jason Champagne, with all the income streams, Scone doesn't want to take the pay cut to coach LSU. Well, it depends what position. Let's put it that way. To be the head coach, that ain't no pay cut, dog. That obviously would be massive. I'm out here making Bo Davis money either. DA Matt, I get it that it's playoff football, but the games I've watched, I noticed the refs are actually letting both teams play out the games with very few flags. Why not do this all year? I tend to agree. But then the other part of it too is, I think different officiating crews officiate differently. But then the Texans yesterday, I was watching that game, and the stat popped up on the screen. It was their most penalized game of the season. So I think sometimes just looking at the cumulative number of penalties isn't appropriate enough. I think you have to look and consider, okay, well, how much of it are false start, formation, like objective penalties as opposed to subjective penalties. But I'm with you. I'm more in favor of letting them play anyway. I think that's one of the things that has absolutely crippled college basketball, is college refs are atrocious, and as a result, it's very hard to develop flow in a college basketball game because referees are atrocious at trying to discern block charge, and hand checking fouls stop the flow of the action so much that the game seldom gets into a rhythm. That's one of the many reasons why I find college basketball to be a very difficult watch. It has that the quality of college basketball has just eroded over the years. Yes, the one and done rule has played a big part of that, where you don't keep the most talented people in the sport for 2 and 3 and 4 years. The rule changes, the hand check foul, like it's just college basketball is not a great product. You can love college basketball, but by and large you love it because of your emotional attachment to your team, right? But if you had no emotional attachment whatsoever and just watched a college basketball game, you'd probably find it very difficult watch. Which, on the contrary, is why the NBA is soaring in popularity now. You have amazing athletes. You have exceptional skill level. You have flow and functionality through the game. You have big men that can step back and shoot threes and space the floor. You have acrobatic dunks, and you have everything. You have everything in the game. Let's see. So glad the Packers lost. It was about time Jordan Love paid for all those throws off his back foot. Let's see. Oh, here's all the comments welcoming Drew. Lawrence Burley, good morning. Update the show to Uncle Scone. I think we'll stick with Morning Scone. But Uncle Scone could be a good option for like a one-off. Cortland Jaden Daniels Stadium. Yeah, how about that? How cool was that? To think people wanted him benched even this season. I know. Yeah, so Jaden's high school in California named their football stadium after him yesterday. The video's out on social media if you haven't seen it. UB1, good morning, Matt. Fun to watch the Bama. Fun to watch the Bama ditch, but DeBoer has won everywhere he's been with less talent. I want to be very clear, and I've said this. This isn't the first time. I'll say it again. I think Kalen DeBoer is a very good coach. I think he will win a lot of games at Alabama. He may even win a national championship at Alabama. But that is a vast difference from Nick Saban. It's never going to be like it was under Nick, where they won 6 titles and over 17 years lost 18 SEC games. It is impossible to meet that standard. So it won't. So when that is your standard, no matter what you do, you will fall short of that expectation. It's like, look at, if you want to comp, look at LSU baseball. Paul Maneri had an incredible run at LSU. He won a national championship. He went to Omaha 8, 9, 13, 15, 17. Right? I'm not missing it, right? So he went to Omaha 5 times, won a national title, was in the championship series again in 17, is one of only 2 schools to be a national seed 6 consecutive times, by any program standards. Like, they would be building that man a statue. He would be the greatest ever in their program by any other program standards, except he coached at a place where Skip Bertman won 5 and 10 years. So when it stands next to that, it's not Skip, and Paul knows that. But Kalen DeBoer can be that. He can be a guy that has an incredible run and wins a ton of games and wins a national championship, but it's not going to be Nick. And that's the challenge that anyone that follows has. Let's see. Richie B, LSU basketball out-rebounded yesterday. Lazy offense with 0 objectives in the second half. 60 total shots with 34 three-point attempts. I don't mind, Richie, I don't mind the three-point attempts. What did you mind are bad looks at 3 or rushed three-point attempts. If you have an open look and you have a shooter on the floor, take the shot. I'm good with that. But the rebounding, the possessions at the end of the game were very bad, and the rebounding was a huge issue. And we talked about it after they won in College Station. Matt McMahon's pregame interview, we played it the next day. Matt McMahon's pregame interview talked about how their objective had to be, limit Texas A&M's second chance points because they were so good on the offensive glass, and LSU did. They out-rebounded A&M. And then yesterday it completely flipped. A&M out-rebounded LSU on the offensive glass 21-6. I mean, that's your game. Kyrie Diggs, morning, Matt. Thoughts on D-Book scorching the Pels for 50 the other night? That was a bummer, man. Especially with the game on the local over-the-air channels where more people were able to see it. The team had been playing well. You just beaten Charlotte. Devin Booker's a great player, and that's one of the things about the NBA is you could always have a night where someone like that just has a night like that, and you just tip your cap to Devin Booker. But it's 1 of 82, man. So you're just kind of on to the next. It's a bummer because it felt like a great opportunity. At home, sold out crowd, right? The game was televised locally, not on Bally, but on the local over-the-air affiliates. So that was the bummer of it. In the grand scheme, it was 1 of 82, so it's not that big of a deal, but it just felt like an opportunity lost. Mike Hardy, any new favorite whiskey? No. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll tell you. If you haven't tried 7-3 Distilling, they have their product is Bywater Bourbon. I think I have it. I know I have it somewhere. It might be in my cabinet. I have so much whiskey. Oh my God. I have just an inordinate amount of whiskey. Anyway, I am very, very happy for and optimistic about 7-3 Distilling. There have been several Louisiana-based distilleries that have tried, and uh, they've all failed, and mostly because their product's been terrible. And I don't want to name names. One of them's already out of business. There's a couple more out there. Um, and largely because it's very hard to. So if you're going to start a whiskey brand, you have a couple of options. You either source the juice, means you go to a place like MGP and you buy barrels, and then you just buy barrels of aged whiskey, and then you just label it as your own stuff, which is fine. There's plenty of sourced whiskey that's great. And when marketed and labeled appropriately, and clearly and honestly, so you know what it is, it's fine. Um, the other option is you distill your own whiskey. The tricky part with that is if you're distilling whiskey, you have to age it properly, which means, let's say you want to have a 6-year-old whiskey. It means from the time you start and put your juice in the barrel, you can't even go to market for 6 years. What if you want a 10-year, a 15-year? Like, it has to sit in the barrel for that many years. So there just aren't many that are willing to be patient like that. So there are people that try to artificially rush the aging process, or they bottle it before it's mature, and so the product's not good. And so that's what you've seen. 7-3 has done a really good job because they've done both. They have sourced whiskey and they're distilling and aging their own. And what you've seen is their initial products were sourced, and they acknowledged this is sourced whiskey. We bought these barrels from somewhere else. This is not our mash bill, whatever. They bought the barrels, they finished it however they wanted to, bottled it, and sold it while they started the process of aging their own. And now you're starting to see blends of theirs and some of the source, and eventually, and they do now have some of their own product and will continue to introduce more of their own line. So I think they've done it in a very appropriate way. And honestly, the juice is good, and and it's affordable. So that's the one that if I were to give you one, Mike, who asked any new favorite whiskeys, I don't know that I would tell you it's my favorite, but I think that's the first Louisiana-based distillery. I think that's doing it right and is putting out a good product. So I'm really, really hopeful for them. I am. I'm hopeful that they make it, and because I think they are putting out a good product. But there's plenty of businesses in the history of mankind that have had a great product that don't succeed. It's business is hard. So anyway, yeah, we'll see. Check out the Bywater Bourbon from 7-3. And if you can find their wheated product as well, their wheated blend, I would recommend that too. Thomas Primo, Bruce Parker, happy 60th to Dalton Hilliard. I saw that on the Saints Twitter today, which is a little wild, but like Dalton Hilliard was my first favorite player. Like if I could tell you, go back to my childhood, say, who's your favorite player as a child? Like Dalton Hilliard, Ryan Sandberg. Those are my guys. I thought Ryan Sandberg with the flip shades was so cool. A lot of summers watching, WGN, Cubs games with WGN in the afternoon. Sandberg with the flip shades playing second base. I wore 23 when I was a kid playing baseball because of Sandberg. And Dalton Hilliard, man. I used to cut out, like when Dalton was in the newspaper, I like cut out the picture from the newspaper and I like tack it on my wall. For a long time, I had this awesome run of, it was like in my closet. When you open up my closet, like I had it right there on the wall in my closet. Like it was this great shot of Dalton like shifting, kind of low to the ground, one leg out, one leg going forward. Anyway, had my Dalton jersey. Like that was my like my first favorite player was Dalton Hilliard with the Saints. Like I'm not old enough to remember Dalton with LSU, but Dalton with the Saints was my first favorite athlete. So I would tell you, man, if there's one guy that I would probably nerd out over a little, it would probably be Dalton, which is so strange to say, man, because, I mean, in this job, I mean, I just think about, like, the people I've had the opportunity to meet and talk to. I mean, from Shaq and Franco Harris. Steve Young. I mean, Hall of Fame. I'm just thinking about Hall of Famers and all these sports that I've had a chance to meet. Like Kevin Mawai is a Hall of Famer who I consider a friend. Anyway, there's a long list. Kevin Falk's another one, man. Like I geek out a little over, but with all those, it would still be like Dalton would probably be my. He was the guy. Brandon Goche, any update on Chad Johnson coming on your show? Brandon, we talked about it last week on air, but honestly, it's not Chad's fault. It's my fault because so one of our graphics editors, Cassie, has been making the graphic each week that you've probably seen on social media. I haven't put the final graphic out yet. So I need to put the post out there and reach out to him to be like, hey, boom, it's over, we good. And I haven't done that yet, and that's on me. Gregory Gordy, Austin Kidder, Joseph Feltwell. What's the NFL's reason for not having full-time refs? Money. Joseph Bagger, sweet. Let's see. How do all the transfers affect Bama's probability to go in the college football playoff next year? Playoff, I don't know that it affects it much. 12-team playoff. I'm sure their odds are still good. Actually, Bama's odds for the national championship are still good. It will be interesting to see how that might affect as we get closer to the season. Milton Borrell, morning from Baker. Matt, you may have weighed in on this already. What's your opinion on the Saints hiring Gruden for OC? I have weighed in on it. Actually, on Milton, if you go to the AFR Saints YouTube channel, I did a segment on it Friday. It's there. And the long and the short is the NFL could potentially step in and try to block the Saints from hiring Gruden because he's got a lawsuit against the NFL right now. But what I went through Gruden's time with the Raiders as the head coach, and I looked at their total offense, their scoring offense. And what's interesting is every year their total offense improved from like 28th all the way to like 8th in the NFL, but their scoring never did. And I think that's an illustration of what we know is the problem with Derek Carr, which is it means you move the ball, you get a lot of yards, but you don't score a lot of points. So where do you struggle? Red zone. So I would rather go a different direction. I understand why they want to talk to Gruden. I would go a different direction. Cortland, I want all the success in the world for Jay Daniels, unless he goes to Atlanta. Russell Doloff, Matt, 227 days till kickoff. Cortland, did the Aggies shoot better than their average too? I don't know, Cortland, quite honestly, and I have the box score right here, but I'm not super interested in digging it up. Michael Thacker Scone, what's your go-to simple but tasty old-fashioned recipe? I go 2 ounces of rye whiskey. I usually do about a half an ounce of simple syrup. Some people tend to go more, but I like my old-fashioned with a little more punch. 2 dashes of Angostura bitters, 1 dash of Peychaud's. Obviously an orange wedge, a teaspoon of cherry juice with a cherry in there as well, and then I'll garnish the glass with a lemon rind. Add ice, stir, and enjoy. I want to make my own legal whiskey. I just ain't got that much cash. Angela Perryman, good morning. Dallas Dale stepping away from baseball for personal reasons. Rick Hess, Matt, my neighbor down the valley distills Spirit Hound. You ever heard of them? I haven't. Brock Hemel, Austin, Saban can't live up to his own standards either in the transfer portal era that no doubt contributed to his decision to retire. Gregory, Matt, on AFR, you talked about scholarships and max numbers. Can a player with a great NIL deal decide to decline the scholarship so the team can use it on another player? Sure, a player could walk on, but that's not going to happen. I even think about times where, like, when if it was Les Miles' kids or Tommy Moffitt's son. And Aaron Moffitt was a scholarship football player at LSU, and a lot of LSU fans were like, why wouldn't he just walk on? Because he's a scholarship athlete. So could they, Gregory? Yes. Is that likely? No. It's a little different in baseball, Gregory, because nobody gets a full scholarship, right? You have to divide 11.7 among your entire roster. So I remember, Rafe Rhymes back in the day did that. He gave up his scholarship money. I think Dylan Cruz did it as well, to help the team, which is awesome. But NIL does help offset some of that too now in those sports. But in football, no. It's a good question though. Cortland, if you don't have a ton of experience making whiskey, you have a long time between distilling and tasting to find out if it's any good. It's true. Jason H. Rhino. Brock, Matt, need to check out Bayou Rum and Lacassagne, Crying Eagle in Lake Charles. So I've had Crying Eagle's beer, and I think they do a good job. I've not had Bayou Rum, and honestly, I think rum is. I don't think it is. I mean, rum is just a different spirit to distill. There probably are good local rums. Rhino, Cubs Hall of Fame, yeah. Milton Burrell. What I always loved about Dalton Hilliard was whenever he scored a touchdown, he'd flip the ball to the ref, appropriately acting like he'd been there before. Yeah, Milton, I'm not going to go there with you, man. You score a touchdown, you want to celebrate and have fun. Have fun. Enjoy life. Celebrate. Celebrate your wins. I'm good with it. Remember, football, pro sports, it's still an entertainment business. So if you're Joe Horn and you want to hide a cell phone in the padding of the goalpost, cool. Whatever choreographed celebrations you want to do it. I'm good with it. Have fun. Alex Rabelais, LOL, the old closet wall collage. I have Randy Johnson SI clips for my closet wall. You know what else too? You said SI. Remember, I used to get SI for kids, and they always had like a perforated trading card page in there as well. So it always used to see what trading cards we get in our SI for kids. You tear them out on the perforation. Make defense great again. My first favorite players were Michael Clayton, Dominic Davis. So you're a bit younger. So I was in college with those guys, but they were awesome, man. Michael Clayton in 01 was a total freak. Not only as a pass catcher and an offensive player, but he was. We saw Jarvis do this later as well, but Michael Clayton used to go cover kicks as well as a freshman. And if you go back and if you have interest, you can go back and watch the 01 Auburn game, and Michael Clayton just split some dude in half. And that was really a tone setter for that game. Then we saw Jarvis do it. I think Jarvis did it against Auburn too. Russell Doloff said almost like an old-fashioned. That's what he asked me. He asked me my old-fashioned recipe, didn't he? Cortland. Seemed like a lot of Aggies' initial shots were falling. LSU started the game on a 9-0 run. Are players like Osbury allowed to use the faculty kids scholarship instead of football scholarships? Don't they have scholarships for children of former players? I don't have the answer about scholarships for children of former players. I don't know that. And I don't know as far as the school faculty kids scholarships. But what I'm telling you is Austin Osbury, when he comes here, will be one of your 85 scholarship players. He'll get a scholarship through the football program. Mike, thanks for the whiskey recommendation, Matt. Hopefully can get it shipped to Jersey. Question is, Lamar a Hall of Famer? How many multiple MVPs didn't make the Hall of Fame? That's a good question, man. And I would tend to say you'd probably need more longevity. But let's see. I'm interested now. NFL MVPs. Jim Brown, Johnny Unitas, Paul Hornung, Jim Taylor, Wyatt Tittle, Johnny Unitas, Bart Starr, Earl Morrall, Roman Gabriel, John Brody, Alan Page, Larry Brown, OJ, Ken Stabler. Did Stabler win multiple MVP? Because Stabler's not in the Hall of Fame, right? That's one of the big controversies, is that the Snake's not in. No, he just won one MVP. Is Ken Stabler? Who am I thinking of? There's somebody. Oh no, you know who it is? It's Stabler's in the Hall of Fame. It's Plunkett. Jim Plunkett's not in the Hall of Fame, right? Did Plunkett win? So Plunkett never won an MVP, but Plunkett won multiple Super Bowls. Because that's the comp a lot of people bring up for Eli Manning. Because Eli Manning obviously has won 2 Super Bowls, but the question is Eli a Hall of Famer? So yeah, here you go. So Plunkett won 2 Super Bowls. He was a Super Bowl MVP, Comeback Player of the Year, AFC Rookie of the Year, won the Heisman, Maxwell, all the college awards as well. So, but he won 2 Super Bowls, but never won an MVP, and is not in the Hall of Fame. So that's kind of the comp that some people say for Eli is, well, Plunkett won 2 Super Bowls and isn't in the Hall of Fame. So I tend to believe Jim Plunkett should be in the Hall of Fame. I think Eli Manning should be in the Hall of Fame. I think it's the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Stat Compilers or Award Winners. It's a Hall of Fame. So yes, I think Eli Manning should be in the Hall of Fame. I think Jim Plunkett should be in the Hall of Fame. As far as Lamar, you got a really compelling case if you win 2 MVPs, and if he gets 2 MVPs in the Super Bowl this year, then I think he's put himself definitely on that trajectory. Milton said, "Good point, Matt. I love the Joe Horn cell phone thing too." Gregory, those kids' cards are being collectors' items, especially athletes like Serena Williams. Oh, interesting. I'm sure I got all my cards saved. They're somewhere. I mean, I got them all cased and saved and everything. Let's see, Michael Thacker, can you explain the process of a recruit committing? Is there paperwork or just announcement? I tend to picture something along the lines of Michael Scott declaring bankruptcy. So when a recruit commits, there's nothing formal binding with a commitment. But once the recruit signs a letter of intent, they are bound to that school. But what a lot of people maybe don't know is you can only sign a letter of intent once, ever. So like when you're in high school, if you sign your letter of intent, let's say you commit to LSU on signing day, you sign your letter of intent. Well, if you go to that school and leave and you transfer somewhere else, you don't sign a letter of intent again. You just sign grant and aid paperwork, like scholarship paperwork, whenever you enroll in the school. But that's what it is, you sign a letter of intent. So that's why sometimes when a player signs a letter of intent, but then they decide they don't want to go to that school. Sometimes you'll see schools let a player out of their letter of intent, which allows them to then go somewhere else. Cortland said, I knew a girl at LSU went for free because her dad was a former player. Interesting. I'd have to ask about that. I've never heard that. Who would have thought Jaden Daniels played high school at Cajon High School in California? It was meant to be. Jason Champagne. What hampers Plunkett is that his career got off to a rocky start. Same thing may hold back to Mario Davis, whose same stretch is approaching Hall of Fame status as he continues to make All-Pro and Pro Bowls. But Plunkett, I can't tell you I know everything about Jim Plunkett's career, but I mean, he was Rookie of the Year. So it didn't get off to a terrible start. Then Plunkett was second in the NFL in passing yards in 73. 74, they started a 6-1 start. First non-losing season in 8 years. Prior to 76 draft, he was traded to the Niners. Released in 78, and then joined Oakland. So he started strong, scuttled in the middle, and then finished strong. I mean, arguments against, here you go. Only 3 winning seasons. 3 winning seasons, unimpressive career statistics, no Pro Bowl or All-Pro selections. Similar debates occurred in relation to Ken Stabler, who missed being elected for 25 years before being elected posthumously in 2016. I don't know, man. I understand, like, my criteria might be different, but I was thinking it was Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame. Like, how many quarterbacks in the history of the NFL won 2 Super Bowls? Well, Jim Plunkett's one of them. I think he should be in. Anyway. Mike Hardyall, does a coach retiring allow players to back out of a letter of intent? Yes. Oh, no. Out of a letter of intent? No. No. So, like, Nick Saban retiring, the commits can't back out of their letter of intent. Bama could let them out of a letter of intent. But those who signed in December, no, they could not get out of their letter of intent unless if Alabama allows them out. Okay, we might just be just about done here. Facebook, thanks for watching there as well. Craig Dugas said I had to do tackling drills against Demario Davis in high school. Are you serious? So, Craig, I guess you're from Mississippi? That's interesting. Oh, Dominic Davis. My bad. I was thinking Demario Davis. That would have been brutal. Yeah, Dominic Davis. Got it. Okay. Patrick McKenzie, what do you think will be the betting total for wins for LSU football this year? I guess it'll probably be somewhere in the neighborhood it was last year. Around 9, give or take half game. 8.5, 9.5 will be right in there. Ooh, Stephen Robeek. What up, dude? You may have a new favorite after today. Okay. I'm going to do a little whiskey tasting later here at the house. Looking forward to it very much. All right. I'm going to bounce. Y'all have an awesome day. KDP just jumped aboard and said good morning. Well, good morning, KDP, but we're about to leave. YouTube, do me a favor. Please smash that like button. Only 81 likes. Can we get that over 100? I'd really appreciate it. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe up to the channel if you're new there. And y'all have an awesome, awesome, awesome Sunday. Enjoy the football. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Peace. I'm out of here.